Tonight on the WHAS 1119. The Pride Parade and Festival are back, and it had the largest turnout in the event's history. Why this year means so much to people in the LGBTQ+ community.
We're just a big family, unity, and that's what we love.
And months after a mass shooting in Louisville's West End, Chickasaw Park getting a makeover.
It's going to expose these kids to something that they haven't had access to.
Plus, on the road to reform. Tonight, we look for perspective on consent decrees. That and more right now on the WHAS 1119. Thank you for joining us at 11. I'm Bobby McSwine, and happy Pride. Today, Kentuckiana celebrates Pride Month, and things got kicked off with the parade in Nulu. The annual parade was the largest ever, and people there say days like today are especially important.
In today's society, with all of the surge of hate coming about against drag queens, trans community, and so forth, this LGBTQ community, it's very important to have a safe place to come and celebrate and do what you want to do and be your authentic self, live your truth. So it's very important to have these events. Until we get past this hate, we have to have them.
The parade traveled through downtown, ending at the Big Four lawn, where the party is continuing through the night. And that's where our crew spent most of their day today, talking to thousands in attendance. Connor Steffen and photojournalist Elijah McKenzie takes us there.
From the sections earmarked for family and kids to the platform stages local drag queens were strutting down. Saturday, the Big Four lawn was beaming with pride.
That we are going to stick together. We can endure anything that comes our way.
We are here to support them and to back them up.
Kentuckiana Pride Festival leaders estimate 2023 celebration saw crowds reach 20 to 30,000. It also featured more than 160 vendors and sponsors, including Louisville Youth Group. They were at Pride for one reason and one reason only.
Because the queer youth and youth in general is just our future, and the youth is the queer youth is just so marginalized, and sometimes their voices are not heard, especially by the adults.
But their voices have gotten louder in Kentucky this past year, as the state legislature mulled over and eventually passed into law anti-trans measures in SB 150. While the law's future is still somewhat uncertain, LYG said it's reason enough to show up and support queer youth, meeting them where they're at.
It is like heartbreaking, but also like very fulfilling, and we are always going to stand behind them. So any bill or legislation that may pass, we're always going to have their backs, no matter what.
That sentiment was expressed by all, for all, at Pride.
And as we're here, for me, I'm here to show our young ones that we're not going to go anywhere. We're here for everybody.
Now we have politicians who are trying to push us back in the closet, and I'm like, I refuse to go.
A day for celebration and a day for visibility. In Louisville, Connor Steffen, the WHAS 1119, on your side.
We're learning more about a fatal crash in Newburgh. 2 people are dead after police say a motorcycle crashed into an SUV just before 11 last night. LMPD says Brandon Self and Michaela Logston were riding fast on Preston Highway. Witnesses say Self ignored a red light at East Indian Trail. The bike crashed into an SUV, which was attempting to turn onto Preston Highway. Both Self and Logston were pronounced dead at the scene. LMPD says no one else was hurt. And LMPD has impounded another car after a series of reckless driving events in Louisville. The Dodge Challenger in this video you see here on your screen is now sitting in the LMPD tow lot. LMPD says the driver is first seen sliding at Shawnee Park, then at Preston and Witherspoon, even clipping several people. LMPD says the 2nd Division seized the car, calling this behavior unacceptable. Well, residents had the opportunity to share their concerns about LMPD's 1st Division with the Office of Inspector General this week. The goal of the meeting at the Portland Community Center was to improve the relationship between the community and police. Inspector General Edward Harness brought the idea of the councils to Louisville from his tenure while working in Albuquerque.
We wanted to make sure that, first off, we were able to deliver the product that we're supposed to deliver as far as our investigations. And we're on strong footing there because we don't want to be out promising things that we can't deliver. And then beyond that, we need to make sure that we're reaching out to all of the segments of the community for Louisville Metro so that we hear all of the concerns, because there's going to be a diversity of opinion.
Notably missing from this week's meeting was a member of the LMPD. Harness called it disappointing to see the department not taking advantage of the opportunity. Meanwhile, in a statement, LMPD say they appreciated the Inspector General's efforts to strengthen police-community relationships. They go on to say they welcome input from the community and have hosted and participated in several community forums in the past, and they look forward to continue working with the Office of Inspector General in the future. Staffing shortages are forcing Kentucky leaders to make changes to the state's only girls' juvenile detention center. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear announced the girls' Campbell County Juvenile Detention Center will be relocated. Those girls will move to Boyd County's Juvenile Detention Center, which is mainly used to hold pre-trial minors. The boys currently at the facility will be moved to Breathitt County Regional Detention Center.
This is a step that no one wants to have to take to move juveniles to different facilities, but this is our best opportunity to provide the most safety for them and for the staff. And no one would want to see a bad outcome in Campbell County because of our current staffing issues. Listen, most of the things we've done in DJJ are because we have to, and we are seeing the situation improve, but this is still a step until we are at a better staffing level that we have to take for the safety and security of first the juveniles, but then our staff themselves.
The governor recently signed new legislation allocating millions of dollars to help reform the juvenile justice centers. The legislation included giving pay raises to workers, which he says is helping to fix the shortages faster. Well, President Biden traveled to the critical battleground state of Pennsylvania today as he begins his bid for re-election, holding his first rally in Philadelphia after taking time to tour the recently collapsed section of I-95. Biden saying reconstruction of that portion of the interstate is the most important project in the country right now. ABC's Chuck Silverstein has the latest.
President Biden taking the stage in Philadelphia at the first major rally of his 2024 campaign. The president accepting the endorsement of the powerful AFL-CIO, which represents 60 unions and more than 12 million workers. It's the labor group's earliest ever presidential endorsement.
I'm more honored by your endorsement than you can imagine. Coming this early, it's going to make a gigantic difference in this campaign.
Earlier in the day, the president took an aerial tour of the collapsed portion of I-95 in Philadelphia.
There's no more important project right now in the country.
Saturday's rally comes on the heels of some positive news for the administration, with inflation starting to cool, the president touting his accomplishments.
We've created 13 million new jobs since I became president. That's more jobs in a little over 2 years than any president's created in one 4-year term. The unemployment rate is down to nearly a 50-year low at 3.7%.
But Mr. Biden is facing some headwinds as he seeks re-election. A recent ABC News Ipsos poll found that his favorability is just 31%, down 15 points from the summer before the 2020 election. Some Republicans trying to capitalize on those poor poll numbers, including Ron DeSantis campaigning in Nevada, where he touted his own accomplishments as Florida's governor.
Everything I promised we would do, we've gotten done, and then some. We've done more than what we promised.
The president heads to California next week for a series of campaign fundraisers, with others scheduled in Chicago and Maryland before the end of the month. Chuck Severson, ABC News, New York.
Well, a multi-million-dollar project to reconstruct the pond in Chickasaw Park in West Louisville is officially underway. The announcement comes 2 months after a mass shooting killed 2 and injured 4 others in the park. Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg said the city has fixed broken lights and will soon add new cameras. Looking to the future, Greenberg announced a $2.5 million plan to reconstruct the pond, which will include canoe and kayak access.
I think that it's going to expose these kids to something that they haven't had access to. I think it's going to make them more in tune with the earth, and living out in nature and just doing things. It's all about exposure for our community.
In addition to the pond improvements, there will also be walking paths, additional lighting, and a butterfly garden and pollinator meadow funded by the Olmsted Parks Conservancy. The pond is expected to be completed sometime next year.